just can't get along. Well, the answer to that question is complicated and fraught, as are the relationships of the members of the family, of any large family. All three faiths are monotheistic and believe in one God. And so believing, all three faiths are against idolatry of any sort. If there is only one God, this must be the true God. And what is not the true God is an idol, and thus a false God to be rejected. But you know, this is a tricky business. Because, as Jesus says, we're always in jeopardy of mistaking human things, idols, for divine things, God. Jews, for instance, think that Christians make an idol of Jesus, and that Muslims make an idol of the Quran. Christians think Jews make an idol out of the Mosaic Law, and agree with the Jews that Muslims make an idol out of the Quran. Muslims think that Christians make an idol of Jesus, and Jews make an idol of the state of Israel. All three faiths are alike in thinking that they alone have the correct vision of the true God, and that the others are to one degree or another idolatrous. Each one claims to be the best of the Abrahamic faiths, and sees the others as distortions of the faith in one God, who is the creator of the heavens and the earth. It may be, however, it just may be, that the question of idolatry is a deeper question, and more a question of people claiming to know the one true way. The problem being not so much an idolization of that way as people's idolization of their own certainty that they're the only ones who know it. Thus, if you're following me, the problem seems to be that we're too damned, and I use the word advisedly, sure of ourselves. When Jesus tells Peter that the Son of Man, whom of course the church believes is Jesus, must suffer and die, Peter rejects the idea, leading Jesus to say to him, "You are setting your minds not on divine things, but on human things." You see, Peter wants his religion his way. He has an idea of how things are supposed to go, and he doesn't want to give that idea up. And in this way, he has his mind set on human things rather than on divine things. Jesus, who represents God here, tells him not to be so sure of himself, and that the true faith is not about winning the world. In effect, proving that one is right and everyone else is wrong, but about losing the arrogance that thinks it can win the world. True faith, you see, is actually faith. Not the certainty that I know the best ways of God. I know best the ways of God. Because my religion, you see, is the only true religion. Might we take Jesus' rebuke to Peter to be saying something like this? Show a little modesty, Peter. Open your mind. Open your heart. There is more to this than you think. In the letter to the Romans, Paul's trying to make a case for the superiority of faith in Jesus as the way to God over the practice of following the Jewish law, which is Paul's way of saying that the way of Jesus is better than the way of Moses. But what if we understood here law, which Paul says brings wrath, to mean not the Jewish law, but rather to be that religious presumption of the sort that says, I know the only way to God. Faith, on the other hand, is an attitude of openness to God, in the realization that none of us knows God with any finality. That, as St. Paul says elsewhere, we see as in a glass darkly when it comes to the infinite one, the maker of the heavens and the earth. What we can have is faith. The faith of Jesus is that in the end, the only thing that matters is love. That love is God's way and that it should be our way as well. That's the Christian faith. And it would seem that we can't go wrong in our relations with our Abrahamic siblings if we approach them in the attitude of love. All right, that's the end of this sermon. Except to say, sadly, that the churches and the religious movements that are the most prosperous these days, and perhaps have always been the most prosperous, are the ones that claim to know with certainty the ways of God. People, generally speaking, do not like ambiguity and uncertainty. So if someone can say with great assurance and a very loud voice that they are absolutely certain of what they believe, they will draw a crowd. But in so doing, they say too much, and they mislead. And the effect is to keep us at odds with one another. Beware of dogma.